Webster on store.
30 chairs, non-squeak.
Webster.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome in to another episode of the Full Send Half Mast podcast, episode 145. And tonight, we are going to be talking about this weekend's NASCAR races at Talladega in the round of 8, leading up to this weekend's final final race of the round of 8 at Martinsville. We're going to settle all of the championship fours up. We'll talk about who's in already, who's going to potentially get in this weekend at Martinsville, as well as F1 is back. And the illustrious comeback tour of a season. I mean, unbelievable if this can actually happen. Down to 40 points now. We'll talk about Max Verstappen and his rise back into the world title fight to go for 5 straight F1 World Championships. It was like 2 months ago, it felt like it was over. It was over 100-something points, and it was like Max is down and out for the count. It's going to be a fight between McLaren. And Tom predicted it. Tom said that Red Bull was going to get back in this. Max Verstappen was not going to be done with this fight. He even called the Grand Prix where it was going to happen. It was the Grand Prix right after Hungary. Said, yep, Max Verstappen's going to be back in it. And then I kind of foreshadowed maybe a little bit of McLaren fall apart, maybe a little bit of implosion, which we're kind of seeing it now, guys. This is all playing out. We got another 5 more Grand Prix and another 2 sprint races left this season. It's not over. It's not over one bit. Max Verstappen is going to give it one hell of a fight. We'll talk about the race this weekend at COTA for the United States Grand Prix weekend. Also, drivers of the week, boneheads of the week's nominees, like always, for you guys to vote on once this podcast is done. And again, we'll go over all the point standings for the NASCAR Trucks Xfinity Cup, give you their pathways to advancing to the Final Four, who's already in, who to watch this weekend at Martinsville, as well as my predictions and dark horses, favorites, as well as notable entries for this weekend's races at Martinsville for the NASCAR Cup Series and Xfinity and Trucks as they round out their rounds of 8 and prepare for next week at Phoenix. And then this weekend is the Mexican Grand Prix weekend. and I will give you my predictions and dark horses there as well, and then round it out with our NASCAR fantasy lineups. As we are rounding out to the end of the season, going to use all of my big heavy hitters that I've been kind of saving throughout the playoffs and kind of mapped it out how I can get where I want to get going into the championship four at Phoenix. So, let's start off with the news first off. KFB has got a new crew chief. Randall left. He's going to be with Zilich next year at Trackhouse, and was wondering who the crew chief for KFB in 2026 was going to be. What was RCR going to do? It's just a bunch of like rumors and speculation, and maybe a little bit of angst around that whole KFB Kyle Busch situation at RCR with the lack of speed and success that they've had the last couple of years. They went a different route, getting rid of Randall. Well, it's decided. Xfinity Series Championship crew chief last year with Justin Allgaier, Jim Pullman will be on top of the box for KFB here in 2026. I think probably out of all crew chief hires that they could have made, I think this is probably the best one available. Go out and get a guy that's a champion, a guy that's got a proven track record, and that guy is Jim Pullman. I think he is probably the best crew chief in the Xfinity Series right now. There's a few other ones that are really good too, but I think this is probably the best bet out there for KFB. And I don't know if this was handpicked by KFB. I don't know if Pullman came to RCR and maybe applied to get this job. It sounded like he was pretty secure and happy with where he was at Junior Motorsports. It seems like one of these last ditch Hail Mary efforts at RCR to try and get Kyle Busch back to relevance. This could be it, man. Like this could be it. This could be the last straw, the last ditch effort right here for Kyle Busch to win a race in the Cup Series with RCR. Uh, if I feel like if this doesn't pan out next year with Jim Pullman, I don't see Kyle Busch sticking around RCR much longer. I think that he gets on the first option out. Uh, I honestly kind of thought he was going to be out after this year. When the crew chief left, I was like, man, I don't know what the contract situation for Kyle Busch is at RCR, but I was thinking like Spire might be an option. I didn't know if maybe 2311 was going to be an option, but with the whole charter lawsuit and everything with NASCAR, seems like that's a very unlikely landing spot. And I don't blame him for maybe even if that was on the table for not taking it. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I felt like Spire probably would have been a better option, but apparently that's not going to happen either. So we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see. Jim Pullman, crew chief for Kyle Busch in 2026. We'll see how that all pans out. Uh, I hope that KFB can win again. That's all I'm gonna say, man. It's just NASCAR's better when KFB's doing good and being hated at the same time. You know what I mean? When he's good and bad at the same time, if that makes sense. So we'll see what 2026 has for Jim Pullman and Kyle Busch. Also, the leaks on X came out this week of the new layout at the San Diego street course or military base course. Man, it looks like it's gonna be a banger of a race. I mean, it spans like the entire perimeter. It's like 16 turns. Boy, it looks freaking awesome. Actually, I might be able to just pull this up here on the Discord actually, and we could just look at it together. Let's see. Let me find it here. I know Tom posted this earlier, and it looks really sick, man. I'm really excited for this race. I think this course is going to play out very well. There's a lot of fast corners. There's a lot of intricate corners. Let's see. Cup news. Cup news right here. Let's see if it lines up. Let's try to move it. We can see it for the most part there off that picture. But yeah, this course looks freaking awesome. I mean, just like I can imagine what it would be like to be at this facility for this race for this whole weekend, man. It looks like it's gonna be fun. It's got a short front straightaway, as you can see right here, real short. I'm gonna have a pit stops and everything there, but then turn one is like kind of a fast turn, kind of like a Sonoma style turn. And then you go into a couple 90s like Chicago street course, and then you have a big swooper, and then another big swooper up here in turn 5. And then a pretty long straightaway with a little kink in it, which is going to be interesting. It reminds me a lot of like a little bit of Road America kind of with the long straightaway with the kink in the back stretch there off of turn 12. Then you got a little intricate section through here. That should be pretty interesting. This can be a major action corner right here in that 8 through 10, 11 combo. It's going to be pretty freaking wild. And then you get a little short runway off to turn 11 and 12, which you kind of can't see. And then there's a little short short straightaway here, goes into a little swooper turn, and then back into a little switch back here on the final straightaway. This is also going to be an action corner as well, especially on like a final lap or on those early restarts. Trying to stay in touch with whoever's in the lead, which is going to be SVG. And then you get a nice little straightaway into a turn down this turn 16 into the front straightaway is going to be interesting as well. I'm excited to see how it plays out. I think it's going to be a great course. We'll find all that out next year, as the Trucks Xfinity and Cup are going to be running a triple header there at San Diego next year. So that's going to be freaking awesome. Super going to be tuned into that. I want more of this kind of racing in NASCAR. Road racing in NASCAR is the best racing. I don't care what people say. I don't care what people's opinions are. It is. We don't have enough of them, and so I think if it's gonna be a success, for me. I'm gonna enjoy it. If the haters want to hate, they can hate and hate. I don't really care, but I'm freaking looking forward to this race so much. I cannot wait. Uh, could it be like the next great race course, man? I don't know, man. This is gonna be interesting. I hope not only does it get like a good week and like a whole good reception the first time around, but I hope makes its way back on the map and goes again, for multiple years because it looks freaking awesome. Chicago is still on the table with Chicago. At first, I wasn't a fan of like that first year. But then by like the second and third year, I was starting to love it, and now it's gone. It's like, come on, I hope it doesn't happen to San Diego, man. Like we could go to less of these mile and a half cookie cutter tracks and less Atlantas, and put in more of these type of races. I'm all for it, man. All for it. Alrighty. Next, Dodge Ram. They've made it official who their first driver that they went out and hired. I'm sure we're gonna hear more of these potential drivers over the next couple weeks. Probably have their full 5 driver lineup filled out here. Probably in the next 2 weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if we just keep getting more crumbles and cookies being spread over the next couple weeks with who's driving these cars, who's crew chiefing them, maybe engineers, whatever. We're gonna find out a lot over these next few weeks. But the first one they picked was Brendan Queen. Me and Tom been saying it for a while now. This guy deserved an opportunity, and he's gonna get one. He's gonna be basically the cornerstone driver for this new Ram project, and potentially their future Cup guy. I mean, yeah, he's kind of on a Josh Berry-esque route where he'll probably, if he does get to the Cup, he'll probably be in his early 30s by the time he gets there as a rookie. But the runway, which is kind of where me and Tom were kind of talking about. There was a lot. I felt like there was a lot of options here for Brendan Queen going into the future of his NASCAR career. Right, he won the ARCA Series championship. It was like, could you potentially sign like a deal with Chevy and be a Chevy developmental driver and move through the ladder there? With potentially not a lot of Cup opportunities. Same kind of way with Ford. Kind of feels the same way. Like, yeah, you can develop through Ford, but then eventually you're gonna hit that wall and you're not gonna have anywhere to go. There's not enough Ford Cup teams in NASCAR, considering especially with the 41 team with Gene Haas Automation. They moved over to Chevy now. Penske's got their lineup pretty much set for the future regarding whether how long all those guys decide to stay, especially with the Centric deal. And then front row with their charter dispute, who knows how long they're going to be around. So like Ford feel like a pretty dead end. And then Toyota, you're always going to have that uphill battle because they're always going to find someone younger and faster. They always will. And then they're always going to abandon them, run them off to another manufacturer. So you're always going to be on eggshells around the Toyota program, and it's all depending on the money you bring too. So now, being basically the cornerstone first driver here for Ram, now he's got a runway, and Dodge has got a lot of money. They're going to put in a lot of resources, and especially into Colleague. It looks like right now. I think Colleague's is going to be a Dodge Cup team here in about 3 years, 2 to 3 years, probably by 2028. I would assume they'd probably be on the grid. He's going to be the guy. He's going to be that first guy in line for that Cup opportunity. So this is good for him. I think it's good for Dodge. If you're going to start a team, this is the way to do it. You go pick a driver that's got the talent, has proven it, and also put him in a runway where he can succeed and develop your program at the same time. And I think he's going to bring a lot of growing pains probably the first year. I mean, with learning the new truck and figuring out all the development and the reshuffling of people from the top, from the management down to the crew chiefs, the car chiefs, the engineers, the sim time, the sim work, the chassis development, all that stuff's gonna take a lot of time. So I feel like next year's gonna be a big learning year, a lot of development. But if you have a driver like Brendan Queen that's learning and grindstoning it out with these guys all the way from the beginning, I think it's going to be a success. I think by the end of next year, I think they could potentially be winning races. Maybe not off rip, obviously, but by the end of the year, I wouldn't I wouldn't doubt it. Now, the question is, who are going to be the teammates to Brendan Queen? Who are going to fill out those other four trucks at that program, that stable? I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. I don't know who they would go for, who they would target. It could be a potential like they bring in a Daniel Hemrick, which colleague has ran that course before. I don't know if they'll redo that again. Is there go for more younger drivers? Is there some like are they gonna find like their Brent Cruz? Are they gonna find their Connor Zillich? You know, are they gonna find their Jesse Love? Like who's that guy in that pipeline? It doesn't feel like there's like any of those guys right now in ARCA, especially this year. It felt like the best guy in ARCA this year was Brendan Queen, and it wasn't even close. The only people that could really beat him were like the guys that kind of stepped down, like the Brent Cruzes, the Gio Geros, the Tanner Grays of the world that kind of stepped down to try and beat him. Um, I don't know who's going to be the guy that kind of those guys that step into that Dodge Ram project. It's gonna be interesting to find out. Also, last little bit of news here. I knew this was coming. I knew it was coming. I just didn't know when we were gonna get an announcement or if it was gonna happen at all. Like I was like, maybe it's just gonna be a reserve driver at Cadillac. We're talking about Colton Herta. He's gonna be making F2 debut next year. Now, this could be good and bad in many ways. For one, this is an opportunity for him to prove himself at a lower tier level while still being the reserve driver for F2 or for be the reserve driver for the F1 Cadillac team. His thing is also he needs to gain more super license points. I think he's a few shy. He didn't get a good enough points finish this year in IndyCar to be able to get those final points needed to get that official super license. So he's kind of like on that fringe. So he really needs to go out to F2 and he needs to put together solid performances, get a good point score because you're going to get more super license points in F2 with a bad points finish than you would with like a really good IndyCar performance. I know it's kind of messed up and kind of backwards, but that's just the way it works. So he's gonna have to go out and perform. He's gonna have to go out and get good results. Learn the whole European circuit. Learn the different types of etiquette drivers. This is in and kind of how do you put this? He's got to make a splash without making a splash. He can't be that guy that goes in and is the loudest guy in the room or per se. Like if you're going out and hanging out and there's that loudest guy in the room, that it just annoys everybody. You would more tend to lean towards the one that's a little bit more quiet but confident, gets their stuff done. Like those are the cool people around that era, right? So that's kind of the way he's got to approach this. He's got to be that person that just goes and gets results, does it quietly, and doesn't ruffle any feathers. Maybe can win a race or two. This is huge for him. Get those super license points and show promise for that Cadillac maybe at the end of the year when they're kind of deciding, do we stick with Bottas move forward? Is Perez going to work out? Because they're both towards the end of their F1 careers and tenure. Which one of those two drivers are you going to want to pull out? Are you going to want to run it back a second year and keep her on a full-time F1 reserve driver basis? It's going to be interesting. Me and Tom talked about it before. As Americans, we should be pulling for Herta to succeed. We need an American F1 influence big time. We got an F1 team, F1 owner, F1 manufacturer. Like it's all lined up. Now we got a driver. Now we need him to be successful. Will he be successful? I don't think so. It's hard for me to believe right now at this moment, 2025, that Colton Herta is going to be a future F1 winner competing for a world championship. It's hard for me to say that. If we could develop the car, the F1 Cadillac, if they can develop that car and they could build with should be two drivers that should be able to bring a lot of that development side to this team, and then maybe get it to a position where you can hand the keys off to a Colton Herta who has shown promise. He's shown speed. In the past, we've always clowned Andretti because they never had good enough crews, pit stop, like they made too many mistakes, and that was costing Herta wins. This year, a lot of it was on him. Really, the last year and a half. I don't know if that's just a mental game. I don't know if it's an Andretti effect. We're gonna find out a lot next year with F2 when everything's even again. He's got tons of open wheel experience, could be racing against guys that will probably a little bit less in that regard. Well, a lot less in that regard. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. I got my fingers crossed. I'm pulling for Colton Herta next year in F2. We'll see how this all pans out. Um, but go America, I guess. The thing is crazy is most of these guys in F1, F2 are like 21 or younger. Like he's gonna be like 27, 28 racing in F2. It's gonna be an interesting dynamic. We'll see how it all plays out. All right, that will cover the news. Let's talk about the races this weekend. Let's start with the truck series, the Love's RV Stop 225. Uh, Big old RIP to our boy Enfinger. Me and Tom picked him last week on the podcast. I thought I thought he was gonna do what he did last year and win this race, lock himself in the championship four. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. We'll take a look at the points here in a second, but his championship hopes are pretty much RIP'd. Thanks to Chandler Smith, by the way. Looked like what about Tanner Gray that maybe gave Enfinger a bump, kind of sent him up the hill, but then Chandler Smith just lost his freaking mind and turned him in front of the field. They totaled him and collected Majeski as well. Poor Majeski, bystander, defending champion. Chandler Smith was an absolute weapon. He also did the same thing to his teammate Riggs. He ends up bumping Riggs and sends him up the track, and Riggs is getting all pissed off. Like, Chandler was an absolute weapon. I'm going to nominate him as Bonehead of the Week. He just made so many stupid moves in this race for me not to say that. Poor Norm Benning made the race. Was actually kind of fast. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, he had a little bit of pace. He wasn't just out there just tooling around like he normally does. He had a little bit of speed in that truck. He was hanging in there. It was fun to watch, but his truck ends up going down in flames. So RIP to that number 6 truck for Norm Benning this weekend. That really sucks. I was hoping to see him not only just make the race, but I wanted to see him like be in the lead back, and he kind of was until it kind of went down in flames. Gio Ruggiero, first career win, comes way late in the season though at Talladega. You got to think back to like many of these other races earlier this year where it's like, man, if you could have won there, could have maybe got this finish here and there and kind of mapped it out. He could have been a championship 4 pay or a favorite to make the championship 4. We'll see what he can do next year if he's re-signed there with Tricon or not. I don't know why they wouldn't re-sign him. I feel like his progression through the year has been extremely high. Like from where we started to where we are now, I feel like he is probably one of the most improved drivers over there at the Tricon team. Had to hold off his teammate Corey Heim, who was looking to win another one. But Gio Ruggiero was the best truck in the race, in my opinion. He led basically from start to finish. I think he won multiple stages. He was the class of the field, and he deserved that win. So good job for Gio Ruggiero this weekend. Let's take a look at the points before we wrap up the truck series going into Phoenix this weekend for the championship, or into Martinsville for the final race of the championship, or of the round of 8. Excuse me. We'll take a look here. Let me pull them up. Corey Heim obviously locked in. Rajah Caruth plus 14. Tyler Ankrum plus 8. Caden Honeycutt plus 5. Majeski's down 5. Riggs is down 6. Hemrick down 32. Enfinger down 40. Enfinger, Hemrick, both in must-win situations. I think they're both cooked. They're both washed. They're not going to be able to get it done this weekend. Although Hemrick did win the spring race there earlier this year after that carnage-filled race. Maybe he could pull some magic out of his hat again. I don't see it, but you never know. You never know. Lane Riggs and Ty Majeski, both in really good positions this weekend. I think this is a strong track for both of them. I think they both can point their way in. Tyler Ankrum, yeah, he finished, I think, second to Hemrick earlier this year, the 1-2 finish for McAnally at Martinsville. I think that McAnally trucks are going to be fast. It's going to be tough to beat him. Rajah Caruth, this is a career-defining moment race right here. 14 points up. Can he maintain that gap? Only one new winner can get in, right? So it's like you're really trying to stay in that top or third and fourth in points right there because only one new winner can happen to knock out the bottom guy. Caden Honeycutt, this is a track like he was in contention to win earlier in the spring. This is gonna be an interesting race. If I was to take my pick right now, I'm taking obviously Heim's in, so that's one. I'm gonna take Lane Riggs. I've said it from the beginning of the year. I think Lane Riggs was gonna be the contender to Heim for the championship. I think he's gonna get in on points, and which means I think it's gonna knock out Ankrum. I think Ankrum's gonna be out on points. I don't think he's gonna be able to get enough. So I'm gonna go Riggs, knock out Ankrum for Heim. Hemrick and Enfinger, I'm counting them out. I'm gonna take Majeski, defending champion. I think he gets back. And now it's really between Rajah and Honeycutt. Can Rajah outpoint Honeycutt? I don't know. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say Honeycutt gets in over over Kruth. So I'm taking Heim, obviously, Honeycutt, Majeski, Riggs. That'll be my final four this weekend. Let me know how dumb I am. Let me know if I'm smart. If you agree, disagree, let me know in the comments below. I would like to hear what you guys think about this weekend's championship race. We'll talk about my predictions here in a little bit later as well. Xfinity Series, United Rentals 250 on Saturday. Big one earlier. Uh, it was pretty much an uphill battle, I thought, for Brandon Jones and Sheldon Creed anyway going into this round. Both are like not good enough to win consistently. They can have those flashy moments with some good runs. I just didn't think it was going to happen this weekend at Talladega. And they both get taken out early in a big wreck right off the rip. Their championship hopes are in absolute shambles. Um, let's talk about, I think we talked about this a while ago. Jeb Burton. Me and Tom talked about this last year. I think we both went on like a 5-minute rant about Jeb Burton maybe not being an elite driver. Like, we never said that. We never said he was like this great super driver, was going to be a championship contender, consistent race winner. What we said about Jeb Burton was he'll win one race every once in a while. He'll get a win every once in a while. Like maybe a Talladega, maybe a Daytona, maybe he'll win a field mileage race somewhere. Maybe he'll win in Atlanta. He'll win a race every once in a while, like one every 2 years or maybe once a year. He'll win a race. He's good enough for that. But the other thing we said was he's never going to hit the storylines. He's never going to be that guy that wrecks anybody. He's never going to be that guy that gets super upset and animated on the radio. He's kind of calm, cool, collected. You can count on him to race you side by side 3 wide and not have any issues. Ever since we said that, this guy has had so many freaking issues with wrecking people at these super speedways. It was in the spring at Talladega. I remember getting pissed off there with him wrecking somebody. I can't remember exactly who it was at this moment, but he caused a big one there. And then he causes this big one here. Ever since we gave him the kudos of being that clean, cool, and consistent guy behind the wheel that's not going to make mistakes, so you can race hard, and he'll race you hard back, but he's not going to hit you or make any contact or cause any wrecks or any disputes or anything. Ever since we said that, there's been multiple scenarios and instances where Jeb Burton has done just that. Been the story for the wrong freaking reasons. And I'm kind of getting sick and tired of it. Like I said about Chandler Smith. I think Chandler Smith's a freaking idiot, nominating Bonehead of the Week, being a bulldozer and all that crap. And I feel like that's the type of driver he is. I'm going to have to start putting Jeb Burton almost in the same set of light here. Like, this is getting out of hand and getting absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if I can even support Jeb Burton anymore. Not that I'm a huge Jeb Burton fan or was, but like I said, he was never going to be that guy to ruffle feathers. He wasn't going to be that guy to wreck people. He was going to be that guy where you could count on him to race 3 wide into a corner and hold his own and not make a mistake and hit somebody. And here he is, just consistently being a problem, being a nuisance, and causing these issues. And he did it again here this weekend at Talladega and cost 2 guys that are in the playoffs an opportunity to race for a championship, in my opinion, because it's Martinsville's next, and I think they're cooked. So, Jeb, do better. Do better. Do better, or you're getting on the Chandler Smith, Daniel Hemrick, Corey LaJoie list. You do better. Do better. All right. Connor Silich gets in a wreck, breaks his record historic top 5 streak that he has going. He's got the all-time most amount of consecutive top 5s in NASCAR history. He broke Sam Ard's record earlier this year, and he kept it rolling. Kept it rolling. Not this weekend. Gets involved in a wreck later in the race. Ends up getting some damage. He ended up fighting back. It looked like he was going to have an opportunity to maybe battle back into a top 5 with that damaged race car, and then he ends up having a tire go down, loses a lap, and had to pit on a green. It was unfortunate. All great things come to an end. Good thing he locked himself in. I'll talk about that in a second, with him and Allgaier both being locked in to the NASCAR Phoenix Championship 4. The only 2 so far locked in this round. So that was the goal, right? Wasn't necessarily win all these races, but to try and get to Phoenix and race for the championship that you were ultimately earned and deserving of. So, Phoenix. I swear, if Silich doesn't win this championship, man, I'm going to be so freaking disappointed. So depressed. Probably do a watch party for that Xfinity race. Not going to lie. Not going to lie. We're going to have to do it because I'm either going to be the happiest man on planet Earth or I'm going to be freaking pissed off and drinking mad, because that's what's going to happen. Silich deserves this championship. He's earned it. If he doesn't win it at Phoenix, I'm going to be so disappointed. he locks in. So was Allgaier, which Allgaier has been the second best all year. Not as good as Dilic, not even close, but he's been the second best guy all year in the Xfinity Series, so he's locked in as well after this race. Austin Hill wins. My biggest complaint about this race, which I thought was a good race. I didn't have any problems with this race. I watched the race pretty much all the way through from the entirety of it. It was a good race. Xfinity always puts on a good race, especially on these super speedways. I feel like the racing is always top notch, best race of the weekend. Mostly everywhere they go, especially super speedways. But what I can't understand is everybody else loses their freaking minds at these damn super speedways, and Austin Hill just gets gifted another win. I'm not saying Austin Hill's not good. I'm not saying his car's not good. He could be elite. He probably is. His cars are amazing. Not going to deny it. You could tell just by the way, you could tell if you know what you're looking for when you're watching these races, how good that car is and what he's able to do with that car. And he's got the ability and talent to do what he can do with that car. What I can't understand is he's all by himself at the front. No teammate to be found. Nobody with an alliance to him. You got playoff guys up there that need to win. And everybody just loses their freaking minds at the end of these races when Austin Hill's leading. Austin Hill had no effort applied to win that race. He didn't really even have to block. Because these guys that are running behind him, they start battling each other. I'm watching the last 20 laps of this race, and it's like he's just in cruise mode out there like Jean Girard sipping his tea and just hanging out, just not even really having a block, just kind of running in line, just doing his thing. Just doing his thing. I'm getting all freaking pissed off watching it, and then everybody behind him, one guy tries to make a move, they just ditch him, they go make a move, then the guy behind him doesn't want to go with either of them, so he makes his own line. Like, God, if 3 or 4 of you team up and pass the goddamn motherfucker, dude, you can battle for the win by yourselves. But you're going to go against each other and race against each other where nobody gets a move, nobody has a run, and then he just zooms his way into another win. Like, is he that much in your head? He's got this whole Xfinity field in freaking PTSD therapy every damn time they go to a super speedway. These guys are traumatized. It's like Stockholm syndrome, man. They lose their freaking minds. They can't do anything. It's absolutely ridiculous. Script, the same damn play-by-play cinematic repeat that we've seen over and over and over again at these super speedways. These guys are idiots, man. Like, do they not watch the film? Do they not watch these races back before preparing for the next time they go? Because all you have to do is watch any Xfinity race over the last 2 years at super speedways, and you'll see the same bullcrap, man. The same bullcrap every time, where Austin Hill's leading, everybody behind decides to lose their minds and want to be Superman, do it on their own, and they get beat every time like clockwork. It's like death, taxes, and Austin Hill in every damn Xfinity driver's mind at the end of these races. It's madness. It's maddening. At some point, one of these drivers has to look themselves in the mirror and be like, you know what? I'll take a second place finish to someone else in Austin Hill today. I'll push this guy to victory today. And maybe if you decide to push him, maybe the guy behind you gets smart and is like, you know what? I'll take the run and I'll push him too. And maybe one of us three can duke it out for the win at the end. Just something different. That's all I have. Film. Watch the races back. You're getting beat the same way every time. Do something different. Be better. Like I said about Jeb Burton, be better, Xfinity Field. This is ridiculous at this point. And the thing is, he can be back next year. He's going to do it again. Do a new crop of retards. I mean, it's rinse and repeat. You watched an amazing race. Like, the entire race was great. I enjoyed every bit of it. And then we get to the last 10 laps, and I just want to turn it off. I know what's going to happen. The script is there. It's written. It's in play. I can't anymore. I can't. It just, get better. Get better. Let's take a look at the Xfinity Series playoff at the round of 8 going to Martinsville this weekend. Obviously, Allgaier and Zilich are locked in on points. Jesse Love 40 up. Like, he's basically did everything he needed to do this weekend at Talladega. I think he'll lock in points by the end of stage 2. All he's got to do is just race for stage points early. I think he'll be locked in. So those are your 3. Now, who's the 4th? It could be a winner. It could be. Carson Kvapil, up 11 right now. Honestly, it was impressed the hell out of me this round. I did not think he could go toe-to-toe this round and compete at the level he has, and he is absolutely maximized. Sure, there's been issues with Brandon Jones and Creed having their issues this weekend at Talladega. Sam Mayer has had some issues, but he has definitely impressed me. Sammy Smith won the spring won this race in the spring, and controversy, if you remember, having to do a little argy-bargy, dumpy, bump type stuff at the end of that race to win. I don't think he gets the job done this weekend. Creed is obviously not going to win. He's in a must-win. He's second place at best. I don't even see Sam Mayer winning this race, and that was my 3rd pick to make the championship 4 behind Zilich and Allgaier. Jesse Love was the guy I was on the fringe with. Now, Jesse Love is going to advance on points by the end of stage 2. In my opinion, he's 40 up. If I'm Jesse Love, I'm racing for stage points. I don't give a damn. Like, I'm trying to qualify top 5, and I'm going to try and keep that car top 5 the entire time. Obviously, the stages at Martinsville are really short for the Xfinity Series. That's kind of a problem. So that's qualifying is all Jesse Love needs to focus on this week. Qualify that damn thing in the top 5. Get stage points stage 1. Execute on your pit stop in between stage 1 and 2. Score more stage points. And then at the end of the race, doesn't matter. You can make a mistake, go laps down. It doesn't matter. You'll have enough points to be separated from the guys behind you. Now, for the winner. Oh, I don't know. I feel like I have this grand answer, but I don't have any grand answer for you guys. I don't know. Like, my heart wants to pick a Sheldon Creed. Can you imagine? After the controversy that got him removed from RCR at Martinsville, can you imagine if he comes back a couple years later with the Haas Factory team and with his first career win, walk off into the championship 4? Storytelling. But I've given up on old Eugene, man. I've given up on old Eugene. He's never going to win. He's never going to win. It's never going to happen. Sammy Smith and Carson Kvapil, they're both going to have fast cars, obviously, Junior Motorsports, but I guess I'm just going to keep doubting Kvapil, because if I keep doubting Kvapil, he's going to do it this weekend. That could be a strat. I mean, I've doubted him this far into the playoffs, and I was someone that was really high on him in the offseason. He could shock the world, man. He could do it. Brandon Jones, again, I don't see the speed there. I just don't see the speed there. And he's going to have to beat his teammates. Almirola's in this race, guys. I don't know. I guess you guys could tell me. You guys could tell me. Tim Henderson says, I'm the 4th. Yeah, dude, you might as well be the 4th, dude, because at this point, we got Allgaier, Zilich, and Love. Like, who is the 4th? Like, who is going to be the 4th? Like, who is going to be the guy this weekend that's going to absolutely take it to the field? I don't know. Well, I'll get into my predictions at the end of this podcast, but I did want to take a look at those points real quick. All right, let's talk about the F1 sprint race and F1 Grand Prix this weekend. Boy, like I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, Tom said this after the Hungarian Grand Prix, and Max Verstappen was at his lowest of lows. He was like 118 points or 117 points back at that point. The next preview, the next podcast, Tom said the F1 championship is cooked. If Max Verstappen in the next Grand Prix doesn't go out and win, it's over. What did Max Verstappen go to do the next Grand Prix? Ends up winning. And what has he done since then? He has cut a 117-point gap down to 40 as he wins the sprint and the Grand Prix this weekend. Now, let's talk about how he has gotten here and what is going on with these races, right? The sprint race. Boy, do I hate McLaren. I hate them even more. I hate their fans. I hate Zach the Clown Brown. I love the color orange, and now I freaking hate orange now. I can't stand papaya. Oh, it's gross. Oh, I freaking hate McLaren. Everything about McLaren is just toxic cancer. You got these fem cells on the internet. We'll talk about the wreck, right? So, turn 1. Max Verstappen gets a good launch. Piastri gets a pretty decent launch, too. Norris is to the inside of him. Norris makes a really late move. Dive bombs in on Piastri. We saw the desperation at Singapore. I said this. McLaren's going to implode on themselves. I've been calling this for freaking a month now. I said McLaren's going to fall apart. They are going to implode on themselves. Lando's going to get desperate. Piastri's going to have to stand up for himself at some point, quit being a little bitch boy on his knees for Zach Brown and do something. And so that's what Piastri kind of decided to do this weekend. Norris gets desperate. The desperation is written all over his face, like a little sad schoolboy. He's fucking mentally checked out and absolutely done. Like, he is done. Like, his little pea brain can't handle this pressure that's encapsulated. He's like that submarine, or what was it, the Seagate or whatever, that went too far down and whatever, like crushed on itself. That's Lando right now. He's the damn. We might as well put Seagate as his new freaking his new nickname. I mean, he dives it into turn one on the inside of Piastri. Piastri's beat him to the corner. It's Piastri's corner. Norris sends it in on the inside. Piastri sees it coming, and he knows from Singapore the precedent's been set. Lando drove it in at Singapore and put freaking Piastri in the wall. McLaren did nothing and said nothing about it. Said nothing about it. Living off the old NASCAR saying, right? Boys have at it. So we're going to let them race. We're going to let them wreck each other. We're going to let them do what they got to do. Norris absolutely screwed Piastri over there. They should have gave the spot back to Piastri like they would have done for Lando. And they've done it multiple times this year. So Norris has got the pressure on him. He dives that fucker into turn one further than you ever should. Piastri's smart. Saw it coming. He gets all he gets way late in the braking zone, way early, backs out the gas, gets on the brakes early. He's gonna do that old-fashioned cut underneath crossover move to perfection. It would have worked. The problem is Lando drove it in too far. Piastri had backed his corner up, didn't back it up enough, and when he did, he kind of had to make a too sharp of an angle to get the crossover cut underneath because of how far Lando drove it in. Lando was going to hit Piastri if he didn't do this, right? Let's get this, to be honest. I've read a lot on the old X Twittergrams this whole weekend over this bullshit. But Piastri cuts down and he ends up getting tagged by Hulkenberg. Was there enough room there for him? No. But Piastri has to do what he has to do, right, to win this world championship. He's basically got to do it himself. He's not going to get any help from his team. He's going to get used and abused by freaking Lando, and he knows it. He did what he had to do. Did 100% what he had to do. It didn't work out. But now we got on the X's and the Instagram, Twitter talks and whatnot, and you see the themselves blaming Piastri for running into their poor widow beloved Lando Norris, who is a fucking retard in his own right, and defending him and blaming Piastri. I mean, if I'm Piastri, I've got to be losing my freaking mind. I mean, I got to be losing my mind. That you've turned heel by doing nothing wrong, dude. Like, oh man. At this point, if I'm Piastri, I'd just embrace it. I'd embrace it. I would just put. I mean, can you imagine being the world championship leader, outperforming, outshining your teammate all year long, and then just allowing them to just absolutely rail you like this? Week in and week out. Oh, I'd be heated. I'd be heated if I was Piastri. This was ridiculous. I put probably in this incident, I put 75% blame on Norris. I put 25% blame on Piastri. That's the way I see it. I see the desperation, and this is why I picked the implosion. Lando Norris ain't built for this moment. He's not built at all for this moment. And he is going to, in turn, racing the way he does, he's going to hand this championship over to Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen is 40 points behind, guys. He obliterated the field this weekend in both the sprint and the Grand Prix. He maximized his points. McLaren scored no points in the sprint race, so he gained 8 points there. And then he wins, and Lando finishes second, and Piastri finishes fifth. So Piastri's still ahead of Lando, so Piastri loses points to Verstappen, and loses points to Norris, but Norris doesn't gain on Verstappen because Verstappen gains on him. It's guys, we're going to tracks that Max Verstappen will dominate. Mexico City coming up is an example. Max will dominate this race. That Red Bull car is fast, and McLaren is losing speed, and they're losing patience, and they are losing their minds. This is turning into a championship fight for the ages, guys. I'm telling you, this end of this F1 season is storybook movie writable. Like we've seen that movie, the James Hunt and Niki Lauda movie, right? This season has got that type of Hollywood moment coming with it this year. Like, it is that intense. The gap Verstappen was down 2 months ago to where he's at today, I would have never believed it. Tom called it. Tom, I'm giving all the credit to Tom here. He called it. Only thing I called was the implosion by McLaren, which I feel like anybody could have called that. We kind of all saw that coming. I called it before the first incident that we saw at Canada between Lando and Piastri. I said it before then. So I did kind of get ahead of that curve a little bit. But then as I continued to say the talking point, anybody with a freaking set of eyes, I think even Helen Keller heard it and saw it coming. Writing was on the wall. The McLaren implosion was coming. This is good, guys. This is good. Everybody's talking about NASCAR and these playoffs and the playoffs, man. It's the playoffs. We gotta change the format. The playoffs. Here's F1 with a full season championship. The gap was up to 117 at one point, and Max Verstappen cut that thing in like 2/3 of it out in like 2 months, and he's back at it. The playoffs. We need the playoffs, guys. Yeah, get bet. We need more Atlantas and ovals and stuff. The racing could be better. Damn rednecks, man. I can't stand you NASCAR fan idiots, man. Oh, man. You gotta be watching some F1. All right, that rant's done with, but, oh, cracking myself up. Let's talk about Lance Stroll for a minute. This guy's an idiot, dude. He dive bombs Esteban Ocon. And what's like the number one rule in racing? If you're gonna wreck somebody, don't wreck yourself. Well, he ends up dumping Ocon, ends up destroying his car. I mean, whole right front wheels battering in the air, bouncing off his aero screen. Like, what is going on, man? Lance Stroll, if your dad didn't freaking own half the team, bro, you wouldn't even be in that ride, dude. You could. I wouldn't trust you to drive my ass home in an Uber, bro. Like, you were terrible, dude. This was clownery at its finest. I obviously nominated him as Bonehead of the Week. That was just stupid. And what is he racing for? I mean, he's racing in, like, who gives a shit, you know? Like, what are you doing? You're an idiot, dude. Like, the comic relief, man, of that moment. It was freaking fantastic. Oh, man. I'm having a great time. Let's also talk about in the Grand Prix itself. Lando Norris was struggling to get by Leclerc. Leclerc was making it difficult on him. And I honestly, watching this, I thought we were going to see a wreck. I honestly thought Lando was going to wreck Leclerc. I mean, he's on the radio bitching and moaning and whining. He's making it hard to pass. And some Lando Norris type junk, dude. Get out of here with that bull crap. And Leclerc's just driving his race. He's got a way lesser car than they do. Like, not even in contention to even do shit in this race, to be honest. Those freaking Ferraris, man. We'll talk about Ferrari fans. Maybe we'll save that for another day, because I could get on a rant with them. But, yeah, the desperation's there. If the writing's on the wall, Lando Norris is losing his mind. This race is probably this entire championship battle is probably going to take 8 years off his life. I mean, he is having a mental breakdown right now. He's mentally checked out. The fact that he's as competitive as he is at this moment just surprises me. Like, he's going to make another mistake. It's going to happen. He's going to pull another Canada and just end up eating the wall somewhere. We have Vegas coming up, and that's not been a good track for Orlando. Oh, man. And Max has won there before. He's Mr. Vegas. I mean, we got Mexico coming up. Shoot, we got Brazil coming up. It might just pour at freaking Interlagos again. It might just start pouring rain. And who's going to be crying about that? It will be Lando. Remember last year when the McLarens had the best cars, it starts pouring rain, and where's Piastri and Lando? They're over there crying, dude, ready to hit the kiddie pool and get out of there, man. Oh man, it's gonna be Max is gonna win this world title, man. I'm calling it right now. It's over, dude. Like Max is gonna win. He's got enough races left. One DNF out of the McLarens away from basically taking the it's over, dude. What are they gonna do? I just can't wait, man. Zach Brown. You know what, Zach Brown? You could eat my shorts, bro. You suck, bro. You suck, man. I hate you. You suck. I can't wait to watch you just implode on yourself in the final race. What I hope ideally happens here is Max Verstappen goes into the final race down by 6 points. Lando is down by Piastri by 2 points. That will be the most cinematic freaking drama you will ever see right there. Because Max is going to win. Lando will somehow beat Piastri because they'll make Piastri give up the position for some whatever God knows made up freaking reason. And he's going to beat Piastri by a point. And then Max is going to beat Lando by a point. Oh, man. In a dream scenario, in a dream world, that's how I want it to play out, man. That's 100% how I want it to play out. That'd be freaking awesome. Oh, man. Yeah, Lando's got down to 14 to Piastri now. Max is 40 points back. It don't even matter. It don't even matter, dude. Oh, man. Another great weekend for F1. I enjoyed it. The fireworks. And to all of you Lando Norris simps, or femcells is what I call them on the internet. Stay mad. Stay mad. Oh. I'm watching them. I see you guys. When you guys don't even know I'm there, I'm watching. I'm seeing everything you're doing, everything you're posting, everything you're whining about. And I see you Ferrari fans too. Except you guys are more fun because you guys know your shit, but you have these expectations that you're the gonna win 18 world titles and 19 Nobel Peace Prizes and 41 Golden Globes. And then when those expectations crumble on lap 1 of the weekend, you guys kind of come back down to earth and get into like your freaking depression stage where you like turn into emos and shit. Like, and then you fall for the same trap week in and week out. Like it's like the levels of a Ferrari fan, right? The day after the race, Monday, we're straight emo, depressed. We want to jump off a building. Where's our ropes? Like, we're going to slit our wrist. It's the end of the world. We're crying. We're at a funeral. It's over. We can't handle ourselves. And then by Tuesday, you're looking at the recent stats and you're like, oh my God, we got a chance this weekend. And then by Wednesday, you're talking about all the FIFA World Cups you're going to win and Super Bowl championships and MVP rings, Heisman trophies, Golden Globes. And then it gets to Friday, first FP1 practice. You guys are like, oh, we suck again. Oh no, we suck again. And then you're just in depression and down on yourselves, emo again. Where's the bridge? Where's the rope? I gotta cut my wrist again. And then you get back to like Saturday and the qualifying. You somehow, for the grace of God, qualified decent enough to be in the top 4. And then you build up this anxiety in your own head, like, yeah, we got a chance tomorrow. Like, if this happens and this happens and this happens, like if Lex goes this way and then Piastri hits this guy and then the wheel comes down, safety car on this lap, like, we're gonna win this damn thing. And then the race happens, the green flag goes in the air, you guys are dog shit, you get freaking passed by everybody on the front of you, you get left in the freaking turd, then you have 14 missed strategy calls and 2 bad pit stops, and then it's back to the same cycle again, back into your depression emo days. You guys just crack me up. And then the posts you guys put on X, keep doing it, man. That shit's cinematic, dude. That makes my entire weekend and week. Every time I turn on X, I got just a feed full of Ferrari fans, just with all ranges of emotions, like bipolar, like the most bipolar community on planet Earth. It is awesome. Keep it up. I love it. It's entertaining. All right, get that rant out of my way too. Let's talk about the Cup Series race this week in the Yellowwood 500. We had a big one early. It collects old Reki, AJ from the lead, gets kind of turned up in the front of the field. Gregson was the one that kind of came down into Allmendinger as they were leading the race. Took out Elliott, whose championship hopes are in absolute shambles. The Chase Elliott fans are in another level of depression. Sucks to suck. Oh, them good old boys are down bad. Down bad, bro. Down bad. It's awesome. Yeah, he's gonna be in a must-win situation going into Martinsville. His playoffs are in absolute shambles. Chris Buescher. Let's talk about Chris Buescher. I would have thought it would have been Ryan Preece this weekend that was gonna have a hard hit. If you would have said it was gonna be Buescher, I would have not believed you. Damn, that was a hard lick, man. Right step at the front. Just gets turned. Just push got awry. Goes into that inside wall pretty damn hard. That was kind of the biggest wreck of the race. But Larson runs out of gas at the very end when he was completely 100% assured by his crew chief Cliff Daniels that they had enough fuel for 2 overtimes. Didn't even have enough fuel for half an overtime. Which changes the points perspective, which we'll talk about here in a second. Bell has got to be the biggest winner out of this whole weekend. I'm not going to lie. Even though he didn't win the race, Bell is sitting in a good spot, man. We might not have any more of that BS Big Daddy NASCAR screw job going into Martinsville. We'll have to talk about that here in a second. William Byron ran up front. It looked at the end there before that Buescher wreck. It looked like an opportunity that Byron might be able to win this damn race, and I was like, "There's no way it's gonna happen." Like, it was a shocker. It didn't survive the overtime. I mean, those Hendrick cars did not execute good with Host and Carsovar behind him. They didn't execute very well. Byron ends up getting spun to the tri-oval. I think he lost like 25 points in the final freaking 500 yards of the race. He's cooked, man. He's got to win at Martinsville, a track that he's not good at historically, dude. Ooh. But who called it? The Dega boys. We said Byron was going to be out this round anyway. I mean, what is Byron? This is typical Byron. Byron the last 4 freaking years has been the most dominant driver in the first third of the season, and then he goes in coast mode through the next 2/3 of the season. He basically makes it to the Championship 4 or the Elite 8 every year, riding off of his early season success, just coasting his way through with bare minimal achievement, wins, top 10, whatever. He basically does the work of a god in the first 12 races of the year. Looks like a damn championship unstoppable driver. Looks like he's going to be the best driver of the series, to win 25 NASCAR championships, win half the races in the season. And then by the time May comes around, he's gone. He's non-existent. He just coasts through all the way and then gets eliminated. This year wasn't good enough to do that. It couldn't just coast like that. That team has got to seriously look in the mirror this offseason and learn what the hell they're doing, because however they prepare for the season, it's like I say with Ferrari all the time in F1. They start the season out fast. Then they just completely shit on themselves for 3/4 of the season, and then they show up right at the end. And it's like the same thing continually happens year after year after year after year. We're seeing now with Byron in this 24 team. They start off the season looking like the best team on the grid, and then by the end of the season, they've been so lackluster for so long that it's like a coin toss: are they going to make it or not? And I said this year they weren't going to make it, and they aren't going to make it. They're not winning at Martinsville, guys. Chase Briscoe wins. I said it. My championship 4, my 2 dark horses to make championship 4, Briscoe and Bubba Wallace. And I put Bubba Wallace ahead of Briscoe, and I kind of doubt that. I regret that now. Well, although Bubba, I feel like could have done it too, though. If his boss didn't have giant freaking thing up his ass, you know, I think Bubba would have been in the championship 4 this year. But Briscoe did it, man. He won the race. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming at all. I thought he was going to point his way in this round somehow, some way. I didn't see him winning. Wow. 2 JGR Toyotas, Hamlin and Briscoe. And I think Bell is my championship pick. I'm sticking with it to the end. I know Tom texted me after the race. I don't know if it was just a live reaction thing or if he actually believes this. I couldn't tell through text if it was satire or real or not. But Tom said Briscoe's winning the title. I'm sticking with Bell. I picked Bell in end of last year when they were with the season recap video for the November championship race last year, Phoenix. I picked Bell to win the championship this year. I still believe it, dude. I'm sticking with Bell. Um, I guess we might as well talk about the points. Might as well. Where are we at here? Cup Series. Cup Series playoffs. Round of 8. Briscoe Hamlin locked in. 2 spots are taken up. 1 point. 1 spot's going to go to points, and it looks like it's going to be between Bell and Larson. Bell is 37 up. Larson's 36 up. If I'm those two guys, all day long, I'm racing the 5 if I'm the 20, and if I'm the 20, or if I'm the 5, I'm racing the 20. They're racing head to head against each other all day long. That's true. One of those two guys is making it on points. Now, if there's no new winner, both of them are making it on points. But hear me out. Don't count out Logano. I know it's an odd year, but don't count out Logano. He's done some crazy shit before. Blaney, this is his best track. He's won this race 2 years in a row. Maybe a precursor to my pick. My pick or later. Maybe. And then we got William Byron. He's not making it. He's cooked. Chase Elliott, he's cooked. I think they're both cooked. Hendrick doesn't have the pace, I don't think, to compete at these races. We've seen Elliott up there in the past. We've seen Larson up there in the past, late in these races, and they've not won it yet. Byron, we've seen in like 20th every time we've been there. They're going to have a freaking miracle this weekend. And there's no way all 3 of them can win. So, do we see a Hendrick implosion this weekend? I don't know. But as it stands, I'm taking Bell on points, and then my pick. Stay tuned for my 4th spot. We'll get into that here in a second. Talladega. I mean, it's Talladega. I wish I was there in person. Like, watching Talladega on TV is just isn't the same as being there in person. I can't watch a Talladega race the same way anymore for the rest of my life. Like, I'm tainted. Like, watching it at Talladega in person with a beer in your hand on a TV in front of you flying around, it's different. Can't watch it on TV the same. But it's hard for me to watch this race, to be honest with you guys, because I was just getting pictures and text sent from Tom talking about Dega and all the fun things at Dega, and I'm just sitting here in my lonely little house, just butthurt and jealous, you know. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? All right, drivers of the week. Dawson Sutton, P4 in the Truck Series race this weekend. Best performance I think I've ever seen him have. I feel like he deserves a shout this week. Cesar Baccarella, P5 in the Xfinity Series race, man. What an awesome race. He started the race in the Infield Care Center. I think he was feeling sick before the race. Ends up getting a top 5 at Talladega. Good job by him, man. And then I'm going to give one to Yuki Tsunoda, man. Got P7 in the Grand Prix. And that might not sound like much. Max Verstappen's teammates winning. Red Bulls should be this fast team, but they haven't been. Max kind of put the team on his back. And Yuki Tsunoda has had a rough go at it. Kind of got pulled into that car a quarter of the way through the season. Probably should have been in there for the beginning of the season. Didn't get that opportunity. And he has a lot of rough moments, man. He's big. I feel like he's getting a lot of shade he doesn't deserve. But he just continues to put his head down and keep driving hard, man. And he finally got a result worthy of his efforts this weekend. P7. So I'm going to give him a shout. All right. And then Boneheads of the week. Chandler Smith, Bulldozer mode in the Truck Series. Enough said. Chandler Smith's on the shit list. He ain't getting off of it anytime soon. I don't think you have what it takes to make it, bud. Should retire. Lance Stroll with the TKO to Esteban Ocon. This dude's a clown. That was one of the funniest comedical moments of the weekend. Racing for nobody gives a shit position. Nobody gives a shit. That was absolutely hilarious. And then I'm also going to nominate Oliver Behrman. I didn't mention this in my recap, but Oliver Behrman at one point tried to pass Yuki Tsunoda through the grass. Drove it in way too deep. Was never going to make it. Yuki Tsunoda had the corner. He said, oh, Yuki moved under braking. Because he moved under braking because that's a braking zone, bud. You weren't going to make it to the inside. It wasn't a passing turn, bud. Get bent. And I like Oliver Behrman. I'm not even hating on Behrman. I just think it was a stupid move. He reminds me of the host and Carsapar of fucking F1, dude. Like, he when he's on, he looks like the best damn driver in the world. But when he's off, he looks like Corey LaJoy. Like, he had himself a Corey LaJoy moment this weekend. Alrighty, we went through over points, standings, everything. Let's go over the races this weekend, man. I'll give you my championship or my picks for the Final Fours and everything this week. I've kind of done that already, but I'll cement them in here. My picks for the race wins this weekend, as well as my dark horses. Notable entries for the trucks. Brent Cruz back with Tricon this weekend. Getting some redemption for that Roval that he should have won. Damn crew chiefs making stupid calls. Norm Benning back again in the number 6. Let's see if he has a fire extinguisher on hand this weekend. Brennan Queen back with Spire in the number 7 truck this weekend. We'll see what he can do behind the machine of that. Casey Mears with MBM. Cool story. Making his 600th NASCAR start this weekend. Be racing with MBM in the number 69. Not very many starts left for Casey Mears in NASCAR, man. You got to appreciate it. One more chance there this weekend. And then Corey LaJoy with the number 77 for Spire. We'll see what he can do this weekend. Not much. Just telling you. All right. And then Xfinity, Brennan Queen pulling double duty. He's going to be running for Colleague in the number 11, man. Colleague loves this guy, man. I think he might be the next best thing. Who knows? Still a little early to tell, but we'll find out next year for sure. Corey Day with Hendrick Motorsports in the 17 this weekend. He's had some good performances. See what he can do this weekend. I feel like his career is kind of like right there, man. Like it's like he's gonna have to do something sooner or later. He's gonna have to win one of these races. Eric Almirola in the number 19 for JGR. He could be the favorite to win this weekend. He's good at Martinsville. Put him in an Xfinity car. It'll be lights out. And then Austin Green. I gotta mention him every time he's on the entry list. This guy I'm super impressed with him. I've rang his praises many times on this podcast over the last year and a half, 2 years. I'm a big fan. He might not be a Zillage talent or a Brent Cruz talent or name a driver talent, but he is doing things in those Jordan Anderson cars that nobody else has been able to do. Not even Jeb, not even Retzloff when he had his opportunity there. And you know how highly we think of Retzloff. He's the real deal, guys. Austin Green's the real deal. And then Cup Series, Casey Mears, number 66 for MBM. This could be it, man. Like this could be his final race ever in NASCAR. So I thought I mentioned. All right, Truck Series. This is some Gym 200 this weekend. I already went over the points, and I told you who's going to make it and who's not in the trucks. Just go back to the podcast. You can catch that part of this segment. But I'm taking Corey Heim to win this race. He's the best guy by far. He's got no pressure on him. He's just going out to get a dub. And I think that's kind of the key for him winning this race is there's no pressure. He's already looking forward to Phoenix. This race is kind of like an exhibition for him. And when you got no pressure and you're relaxed and you're just got confidence on high, how could you not take him to win? I'm going Corey Heim. My dark horse, I'm going with Brent Cruz. I know it's a weird dark horse pick because he's probably one of the best drivers in NASCAR's development right now. Future Cup guy for sure. Probably potential future Cup champion. Him and Zillage are going to be the next Jimmy Johnson versus Kyle Busch, of the future. It's going to be freaking fun to watch. Jeff Gordon versus Jimmy Johnson, Brent Cruz is my dark horse this weekend. Maybe some redemption from the Roval. And then Saturday, the Xfinity Series, the Richie Bros 250. I'm going with Eric Almirola. It's going to be a points battle for those final spots. Eric Almirola is going to win this race. So like I said, Jesse Love. It's gonna be that fourth spot. Who's gonna take that fourth spot in points? Carson Quapple's got it by 11. Can he do it? Can he hang on? I don't know. Xfinity's tough to call this year. Who's not winning? It's gonna be Sheldon Creed. Best he'll do is P2. But like I said, that'd be a storytelling moment with a walk-off win for old Sheldon Creed. My dark horse again. Ovals, it's tough to pick him a top 10, but he's a top 10 threat every time they go to a road course. Maybe he's got some oval in him this weekend in Martinsville. Maybe this is the weekend he can go out and show some shit. I'm going with Austin Green. It's my dark horse, man. I'm just a big fan. I'm a big fan. There's nothing more he can do to impress me. I've been impressed. Like he just continually impresses me more and more and more and more. There's nothing more like I can say about him. He's just that good. He's just that good, guys. He needs an opportunity, big time. Mexican Grand Prix this weekend. I'm going Max Verstappen, dummies. He's gonna win. He's gonna win. I'm still laughing about it. All you Lando Norris McLaren fools, dude, just get ready to cry some more and bitch and moan because Max Verstappen's gonna win this weekend. He's gonna crawl even closer into this world title fight. Oh, I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it, guys. He's Max for unstoppable, man. In my darkest, I'm gonna go with Yuki Tsunoda. Easy pick. I think he's got the confidence now. What a tough spot to be in, and for him to just keep putting his head down, keep trying to get results, keep pushing forward. Max has done the development on this car. He's like, I feel like he's doing all the right things. Has been Yuki Tsunoda, and he is just. I feel like he's getting it, man. He's just getting it, and I think sooner or later we're gonna see him on the podium. He'll be this weekend. Stay mad about it, McLaren. Suck on these. Lick my taint. All right, the Cup Series Xfinity 500 this weekend. I talked about it. Briscoe and Hamlin are locked in. The battle between Larson and Bell for that final spot in points. I'm gonna take Bell in that. And the walk-off win. The walk-off win, boys. The walk-off win for YRB. Look at Blaney, man. YRB this weekend. Walk-off win. Ryan Blaney. He's going to win this race 3 in a row, lock himself into the championship 4, and then from there, it's going to be a wicked, epic championship battle between 3 Gibbs cars and Blaney. And I can't wait for it. I think that's probably our best case scenario to make this championship format seem okay for this year, if it's those 4. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, got the sneezes. And then my dark horse, I'm going to go with Ryan Preece. It feels like he's going to win a race at some point soon. Like, at some point, he's going to win a race. And if it does happen, it feels like a race like a Martinsville this weekend, where he could maybe shake some things up there. Maybe prevent Blaney from... Well, he's obviously, if he wins, he'd prevent Blaney from making the playoffs and put a Larson in there instead. You know? Like, he has a chance to really shake things up here and get that first career win and really kind of turn this playoff into a weird wild card, man. So, I'm taking Preece this weekend. All right, and then fantasy lineup, I'm going heavy hitters on this one. I'm going Blaney. I'm going Bell. I'm going Logano because you can't count out Logano. I feel like that's going to be a good point score. I'm going to throw Byron in there because I feel like they're going to go balls to walls, everything they can to succeed. He's either going to score a lot of points or score no points for me. So I'm going to take a risk. And I'm going to put Barry on there as well. I don't like the guy. I think he's an idiot. Don't think he's got what it takes to win. He's in a Penske car, basically, at Martinsville. He's going to be a top 10 guy. Like, I feel like you can almost sleepwalk your way to a top 10 in a Penske car at Martinsville. So I'll put him on there. Matchups, I think they're good. Bell versus Larson. That's your points battle. I'm going Bell because of obvious reasons. And he's not hung money. He's Christopher Bell. And he's going to be the champion this year. And then next is Blaney versus Logano. Teammate matchup. This is a toss-up. But since I picked Blaney to win, I'm taking Blaney in the matchup. So that's as simple as it gets. And then Byron versus Elliott. Look, I should take Elliott in this one. But I'm going to take Byron purely because maybe some Big Daddy NASCAR bullcrap plays out and he somehow wins this race. I mean, weird shit's happened before, man. Good happened this weekend, dude. Good happened this weekend. The next one is the 2 guys that don't really matter. Briscoe versus Hamlin. Both of them looking ahead of Phoenix. Don't give no shits. I'm going to go Hamlin over Briscoe just because of the track record. Really, that's it. That's it for the podcast, guys. That's all I got this week. I had a few good rants in there. Had a great time on this podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Tim, thanks for joining in on the chat there. Appreciate you. Fun weekend of racing. We're winding down the season. The F1 battle for the rest of this year is going to be wild. That's pretty much what we're going to be talking about for most of the rest of the season on this podcast. For the regular season, will be F1. Talk a little bit NASCAR next week. We'll talk about the Martinsville recap as well as preview for Phoenix. We'll talk about watch parties potentially. Because I definitely want to do one for the Xfinity Series race at least next week because of my boy C. Zilly, the best driver in NASCAR, best American driver on the planet of Earth. Facts. Fight me. We'll talk about that next week. And then we'll also recap the Mexican Grand Prix, which is going to be a good one, unless you're a McLaren fan. You guys suck. Yeah, thank you again for tuning in. If you guys want to follow us on all of our socials, those are on the bottom of the screen for you guys to go follow, as well as links in the description below to take you right there to give us a nice little follow. We appreciate when you guys do that. Stay up to date with everything happening here on the channel. Also below is a link to our Discord. Come join the best race community on the internet. All of the drama, rumor, news, memes, everything happening for all motorsports around the world right here on our Discord page. Come in and post your own stuff. We love it when you guys do that. We love interacting with you guys and chatting back when you guys post that stuff. So come join the best race community on the internet, guys. We're a lot of fun around here. Also, down below is a link to our merch store. Go buy you some Dega Boys swag. Get swagged out. You can buy you a hoodie, a beanie, whatever it may be for the winter seasons upcoming. Get yourself some bumper stickers and rep the boys on a daily basis. All kinds of merch in there. All those proceeds go back to help us make bigger and better content for you guys here on YouTube and keep this Tuesday podcast rolling along. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the race this weekend, and hopefully, you guys have a great rest of your week and enjoy the races this upcoming weekend. With that being said, this has been another episode of the Full Send Half Mast Podcast, episode 145. Thanks again for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, turn on the bell notification to stay updated, and we will catch y'all in the next one.
Actors, we can make you believe